In fact, closely related to that was some other issues that came up with the Chief Justice. We do know that there have been some petitions for her removal from that office, and the minority leader, Alexander Fanyomakin, took advantage of yesterday's, or took the opportunity yesterday during the presentation of the report to the party to make some comment on the Chief Justice matter. So we'll try and put the two together. But fortunately, because the Director of Communication of the party is here, he'll be in a better position to let us in on the importance of yesterday's meeting. Remember that the media had generally reported it's at a crunch meeting. What was crunch about yesterday's meeting? The Ghanaian Times reports it as well. It's on page 9 of that paper, and it says that NPP Facts-Finding Committee presents report to leadership, and the story is by Benari Bengan. It says the committee tasked the probe into the new patriotic party's loss in the 2024 general elections has presented its findings to the party's leadership at a closed-door meeting held yesterday in Accra. The 12-member committee, chaired by former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, handed the report to the party's General Secretary, Mr. Justin Kodua Frimpong, at a meeting the Ghanaian Times has gathered. Now, after receiving the report, the General Secretary is reported to have taken the National Council and the Council of Elders through the committee's recommendations, which have not yet been made public. The meeting brought together party officials, including members of the National Council and the Council of Elders. The committee was established immediately after the recent electoral defeat, and it was charged to investigate the factors that contributed to the NPP's loss to the National Democratic Congress. The committee was given a 3-month timeline to complete its work, with focus on evaluating the party's internal elections, campaign strategies, and the challenges that led to the electoral defeat, while proposing actionable solutions for future elections. According to NPP General Secretary, the committee's objective was to conduct a thorough review and provide recommendations to strengthen the party's operations. Now, the 2024 election saw former President John Dramani Mahama achieve victory, securing 6.328397 votes, representing 56.55%, defeating the NPP's presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who received 4,657,304 votes, representing 41.61%. Mahama's victory only marked a personal political comeback, but also represented a significant triumph for the NDC, which gained a majority in Parliament with more than 180 seats, including those formerly held by the NPP, which includes the Ablema West constituency, that Esla, I believe that's Esla Usu's constituency. So Richard is here, thankfully. And Richard, how important was yesterday's gathering, and what's the way forward?
Oh, thank you. I think yesterday was pivotal because right after the elections, the party needed to collect itself, which required that we understand exactly what went wrong, what we did right, what we did do right, things that we needed to take a second look at, things that we needed to outright admonish ourselves about, that never again, and things of that nature. And in seeking to find answers to those questions and concerns, the National Council of the party met and set up this committee chaired by the Right Honorable Michael Quay to inquire into what must have gone wrong. Listening to the report yesterday, the highlights that was put out, there was a mixture of things that we may have done right, things that we need to take a second look at, things that we need to discipline ourselves about, to bring to the fore or to jettison, and manner and things along those lines. So it was important that work was done. And before going further, let me commend the committee, all its members, the chair, Professor Okwe, for the very diligent work. You'll be amazed what the volume of work they put out in 3 months is simply exceptional. I mean, is very, very exceptional. I want to commend them as a great service they've done to the party.
Can I safely assume that they went to all the nooks and crannies of this country?
Absolutely. They went to every constituency.
Okay.
Every constituency. Talked to a significant amount of people, people, party executives, people, party associates, people in the campaign, people at the headquarters. I recall I was supposed to have met them on 2 different occasions. So it was a very extensive work, and the result they brought yesterday was just simply, rich. And I think that we need to commend them. And this now, the significance of yesterday, sets us up on a path of, regrouping and putting the pieces together to ensure that we get ourselves properly oiled for the battle that lay ahead in 2028. And it's exciting, especially because, the NDC started goofing up early. And so it just calls for us to put ourselves together. And once we get that done, we'll give them a good run for their money. I still think that, they have our seats and we'll take them back, both the Jubilee House one and the parliamentary seats that they are sitting on. Most of will take them back. Because, and I think that Hamza will feel this way. I believe inherently, without apology, that the new patriotic party's worldview presents a better prospect for Ghana. If you put it side by side.
Sorry, I'm told that we have a sound issue, we have a sound challenge, so we'll take just a short break. We'll sort that out quickly, less than a minute, and then we'll come back. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana.
I was for my movie Biakwaba, now I'm found Mega TV and platform with ESO. The movie Bia Happy Easter, Afishiapa, Afe Encombra United in Comuna. Wakuani Wabrabum na Mega TV, na Mega TV in Susambri night, Yenam 100K, what you say, Yankupon Hra, Obibia. I was in NPP Manukuni dear, baby, near my Kaka Sambri ni dear. I'm so munya your my being say. Party no on very structure, on very building, no more capture power. Because the more they move forward, no, the more ena omo eyomu basa. So kaya saying Justin Frimpong Kudia, I a friend or a general secretary at the party, New Patriotic Party, in fact, our war position CCA. Obey a press conference be Anna for your marking a team B, NPP, third vice chairman. Yura Osman Masawood, Emma Yuechi kwa Masawood FRT with 3 microphone pushing it to baby. Now, in some no more can say that Professor Michael Kwe report on a babontin. I mean, report na Omukas or Mukwayeno. In yon leaky, Omunkwan or Muyedin or more. Na ma Obian Kujina baby in cassette, report on a leaky, a report will be or copy. Any all sort of things because Nkofo number baby omokasa report no mun sem say enti sada enti obi bia wate asem no debunk it, I mean ignore it what you say osanto aso ekirebo e ka say say party no muhnya nkabom enti mo bibia nkogina baby enka ade be mo party nani megu ase what you say sansem we na NDC communicator popular baako what you say watch na adwen okwa clash ewo eye Good Morning Ghana show so moro baby na Randy Abe first na oye morning show no Good Morning Ghana ene moro na take over one Richard Ahnyagba no ye the director general, I mean the director of communications Richard Ahnyagba na nkasa na uti nsema Richard Ahnyagba ka ube feel very pitiful among NPP because I'm saying no omuko TV station omuko radio station for communication nsem nyina sebi asa de ombeka bia no sebi endimu ekasi bi ndimu a de ombeka bia na nhyede nhia amisi asem ne da ho no mba to muntimi nka mu no kware abunafo yankoi na yinkuti sansem ni bi na yekoba edinaka ina ebesombo ana yɛde bɛtoa so ɛwɔ Mega TV yɛn platform kɛse ɛso Nyankopɔn nkɔ so a ɛnka ho na ɔnhyira wo abusuafo yɛnkɔ tie nsɛ no bi yɛkɔbɛ bɛtoa so
Butaya into a national council this year and say and chair and yet abedioku bi a from review committee Europe Reverend Professor Iramaku Dano say omonhwe party no ya number 2 adwuma ye or 2024 elections no me koyi and no man koyi and ne committee need omo report every national council I'm a national council so a report to him National Council saw a report in him, you who say your constitution was a political party, no, as a crack a crabby mabum. Then tea and nam sasunti a tea abidokua almost so a nipa and kono. Say ombeshe constitution ni propose as a war era makuke report in him. Na omo to party nefo. Na baby a constitution as a sacrabamuno, sacrate mabum. Na me fa kunya we so as a party for. Say yeah, call radio so yeah, what social media platform so. Say report no yenyan biem ni enkan. Enti obi abakotena radio so na abonte abeka say report ni say eti say no enya no kure. If say report no yenyan kan say the make na one document pe ena wo ho eni ba bia. Emra di yanim no the ese party mpenifo e kan de to edwa e ma amanfo hu no ye beka wasem. And a recommendation na ese ye de ba man kofo so hu no nyina se betu anamo ti ye bo party fo bia kokko se ye hwe kasam ye me en kasam a identitimu ebeba party nim etoso biem ye nyina nti asese ye busua baako ti bibia ye se ye e man kabo ma party nim eno ene ye se ye ni ekoho ebiem party no so na otwe edi enu ye bobo apro akọ Ghana fa na nyina edi kan ye danyame ase se elections course so masundwe ba omemu na ono an 2 million hyehyemu de siye no o ma kwan ma de siye nti atudi ni se ade ni nyina no ye de aseda emanyame eho to ene yeko ti mu se ye party ne nam Ghana fa na nyina na ye thank you to na se aseda de manyame to no na yeko to su biem so ye party no so ye hwe kwan a ye be pija party na ho odin ye nti membership drive so ya dia ye ba betu hanamo nti ebrese no party ni hyehyɛ beba regional party ni be di animu ni ahwese constituencies ene ye polling station kwan a ye membership registration no ebetimi akoso nti ene nhyiamu a ekoso so e national council no na eno no nti ebeda mu nyina amase na ya ma minority leader so e de atwaso.
Secretary said we are also urging upon government to do all it can to ensure the peace in Boko. Yes. The situation is getting out of hand, and they inherited a peaceful country. They must keep it peaceful. What is happening in Boko, where security personnel don't feel safe, is not the best for our country. Second, we are also concerned about the persecution and the harassment of political opponents, particularly our party members and former appointees. MPs are now being harassed by expressing their views on governance issues. We urge government to demonstrate tolerance. After all, when they were in opposition, they were at liberty to raise a number of issues. The recent event at the residence of Reverend Ntim Fojo leaves so much to be desired. Very unfortunate. In any event, they could have used due process of law to, invite him. And then the final point, government must focus on issues of governance, creating jobs, and helping better the lives of the people. We are still aware that a lot more are being dismissed from various state institutions that are even very independent and are limited liability companies, and whose budget do not rely on government budgets. They are very independent, who have recruited people for 18 months, 12 months, and they are just being sacked here and there. Government must take note of it. We are also concerned about an attempt by certain individuals in government to push for the removal of the Chief Justice. The judiciary should not be seen as part of the partisan political system in our country. All we need is to have an impartial judiciary to dispense justice.
Friends from the media, we are delighted to have you here this evening. I know many of you want.
Yeah, so it was an event that happened yesterday right here at the Alisa Hotel. So I'm here. Richard Ayangba is here, Director of Communications of the NPP, and also Hamza Suhini, who is a private legal practitioner and also a member of the NDC's communications team. So Richard, you were talking to me about the importance of what happened yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is pivotal. Much of activities in our party was depending on the conclusion of this. So you saw the General Secretary talking about some activities that will start rolling out, which is the thank you tour, which was scheduled much earlier, but then, you know, it was one of the things that we said, well, let's wait for the report. So now the report is here. We're going to be going or working to that report. And so a lot of activities in our party now would commence, having gotten this report done, and then most of our organizations will drive toward some of the recommendations that's been made in this report. So it was that important for us that we have that report. And again, as I was saying, I can't stop commending the Prof. Okwe's committee. They've done a yeoman's job. Now, out of that yesterday was a committee that was formed to kind of coordinate matters arising from that report that require constitutional amendment. And so the committee put together is chaired by the chairman, Frank Davis, who is chairman of the Constitutional Legal Committee of the party, and supported by 8 other persons to try and do that, so that they would put together matters there that require amendment, and so proposals will be put to that, and then Congress would look at amending or not amend the Constitution to reflect the recommendations. And then also the other outstanding proposals that were supposed to have gone into amendment in 2021, but for some reason it didn't, so it was referred to National Council to do that on behalf of Congress. Though outside of Congress, National Council is the highest authority of the party, so it was referred to Council to winnow or kind of sort through those proposals for amendment. So the committee is now seized with it to consolidate all of that, including new proposals that people would want to make outside of the committee's ideas or recommendations that would lead us to a conference or Congress to try and amend the Constitution. So that's a very important work that's also ongoing. So the report yesterday has brought some, beginning point in terms of our rebuilding process to recapture power in 2028. So we thank everybody. It was a very good and spirited debate about, the matters, some of the highlights that were there, and other related matters on our agenda. So it was, for me, today is our rebirth. Since after the election, now we have a roadmap sort of to put our hearts together and sharpen our arrows and bows for the fight in 2028.
So the details of the report was not shared?
The details of the report, the aspects of it that is consumable by the general population of the party and Ghanaians at large will be put out as and when it's necessary, but the document itself is a confidential document.
Okay.
That is only for purposes of reorganization and not for pleasure of reading and learning about things.
Okay, so who would be entitled to read the content of that document?
Would only be people who are working and leading the efforts, so maybe executives of the party, and appropriate.
So, say General Secretary, National Chairman, Women's Organizer.
Yeah, I mean, it's generally, yeah. If it bothers on my work and things that I have to do to sharpen and improve communication, yes, that'll be a detail that I have. If it bothers on the work of the national organizer, the women organizer, things that he must do, part of the recommendation to, shape up his organ, then that's probably what he would know to be able to drive the agenda forward for the party.
I see. Do you suppose that perhaps this document, this piece of document, and as you put it, my Professor Michael Quaid document, which has diligently been put together, would suffer some kind of a credibility deficit, and for that matter, make it difficult for the party to unite going forward because of some of the comments we heard from no less a person, Judicial, I believe 3 times or 4 times Member of Parliament for Domi Kwabena.
Yeah, I think it
must be 4 times.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times.
I mean, she's not a small person. She's been a minister, and she's been a deputy majority leader, etc., etc. And she's raised some serious concerns about the integrity and the credibility of the document. And her challenge is with the persons who have been commissioned to do it, and specifically Professor Michael Quaid. Now, such a person, unless of course the NPP doesn't want her to be a part of the party anymore, but if you want people like her to be a part of the party, then she's got to be convinced why she must take this document much more seriously, even if there's a portion of it which has to do with her role that she played. She's got to be able to accept it, because at the end of the day, if the document comes out and people don't want to accept the content of the document, then you may not be able to make progress. You don't think so?
No, not really. I mean, we are so many million people in the New Patriotic Party.
She may be the only person who's talking, but there may be many others who have the same concerns.
Yeah, I'm not even making the point of... yes, I'm not saying that we're so many million people in the party, and that if you want to have a committee that works, you can't have all million of us being on the committee. So at any given time, whoever you put on the committee, I'll have reason to complain about the person. You'll have reason to complain. So to the extent that we can't have any perfect human being drop from anywhere, people will have concerns. But it doesn't take away from the work of the committee. The key thing is that the committee didn't set out to imagine what went wrong. The report as we have it is not the imagination of the committee. It's a collective of the inputs that have been brought to the committee. So they just tabulated what has been brought, collated, clean it up, and organize it for our consumption and then implementation. So the question doesn't arise as to whether it is credible or not, because they have not gone to imagine it. It's not a function of their education, right? It's a function of collective insight that is brought to them. They put it together. I think that what concerned Judicial was making a while ago, if I remember, was to do with her availing herself to the committee. And so I don't know if she presented herself to make her views known to the committee, but that doesn't take anything away from the committee. I
doubt she would. Yeah, it doesn't. Because she has serious issues with
if she hasn't, I will encourage her that, she's a very senior person of the party. She's done a service to the party, and she has a role to play in the party. And I don't think the party will just jettison her or just ignore her. The thing about it is that, Moro, as big as we might be in the party or as small as we might be, there are rules, and we must work to those rules. That's really just what brings sanity. Otherwise, there will be chaos. So I'll entreat her, and I'm sure that things have worked out to this point. I'll seriously beseech her to reconsider. Her potential is immense, and there's room in the party for her to grow and to attain the heights that she's destined to attain. And I think that she should work as she's worked for the party in the past, so we can move on, because 2028 is a crucial election for Ghana. And not for NPP, but for Ghana, because Ghana needs to be saved from the experimentation of the NDC led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, which is not going well so far. We can see it. We know it. Ghanaians are beginning to feel it. They are calling and asking why their lights are going off. Why things are getting expensive instead of less expensive. So we know where we are is not good, and we need a new patriotic party to focus and come back in 2020.
So that's my penultimate question, because the report, let me ask you a few questions. But the thing is, does the report talk about what happened, or it also goes ahead to talk about who is responsible for this? Was there some kind of a blame apportioning in the report? And I'm asking this because I suspect that finally, if somebody gets hold of this report and gets to know who may have done what, either by an act of commission or omission, we sit here, and even if the NDC grabs it, they will begin to talk about, you did this, I know you did this wrong, you did that wrong. How does that help the healing process?
Well, what will help the healing process is that Hamza will not get his hand on that document. you will not get your hand on that document.
Know this guy. Oh my God.
and then those who must get their hands on it to promote the healing process and make that healing happen will get their hands on it.
Does the report talk about going on a thank you tour? And because you've talked about going on a thank you tour.
No. So it's not a recommendation of the report. These are activities that were scheduled before, except they were put on hold for the report to come before they move. So with the benefit of the report here, the door is open for those activities to be undertaken.
Okay. So you don't want to tell us who should be held responsible for what? But Global Info Analytics has done that job for you. Yes.
You are tempting me.
No, he's a very good friend. The only reason why I brought it up is because I know you're very close to him. So Musa Dankwa has done some work. And he says a post-election poll conducted by Global Info Analytics has revealed that 68% of respondents hold former President Nana Akufo-Addo responsible for the New Patriotic Party's defeat in the 2024 general elections. 2, the poll reflects public sentiment on the party's loss, with significant portions of voters also attributing blame to key government figures. The findings show that 40% of respondents blame former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, while 37% attribute the defeat to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who served as Vice President and was the NPP's presidential candidate in 2024. And the poll is right there. Additionally, 33% blame Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, while 32% hold other government appointees responsible. Members of Parliament were also not exempt, with 25% of voters assigning them some level of responsibility. The data suggests that many voters view the performance of the Akufo-Addo-led government as a decisive factor in the NPP's electoral failure. Issues such as economic challenges, governance concerns, public dissatisfaction may have contributed to the perception that the former president's leadership played a significant role in the party's defeat. Interestingly, only 9% of respondents blamed Kennedy Pong, who contested in the NPP's primaries but did not lead the party in the elections. This indicates that while intra-party competition may have influenced voter decision, the majority of the blame was placed on those directly associated with government administration. Now, are these persons who have been mentioned, first of all, your thoughts on this before I go to Hamza, and are these persons who have been mentioned be given copies of the report for them to peruse and have a look and say, look, this is what the generality of our party followers are saying you may have done wrong. So next time around when you get an opportunity, be careful. So Nana Addo, so Ken Ofori-Atta, so Dr. Matthew Poku, so Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, etc., etc. It is a part of your plans. Whilst you give me your brief thoughts about Musa Dankwa's poll.
Our report does not report anything in this manner.
Okay.
And so maybe Global Info Analytics need to share this with the people.
Okay.
But our report doesn't speak in those terms. Yeah. But the sum total of the matter is that
the report doesn't mention Ken Ofori-Atta?
No.
It doesn't mention Nana Addo?
Our report is not in that.
It doesn't mention Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh?
No.
Okay, it doesn't mention Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
No, it is Global Info Analytics you just read. So that's not our report.
I'm trying to get a scoop. I know.
That is not our report you read. So the truth is that the sum total is that we know we have work to do.
Okay.
The NDC were here some years ago, 8 years ago. They had to go through a process. They did pretty much the same thing. It's normal. It's normal. But yes, the post-mortem assessment is good. It's good for life. Okay. I do that every morning. Before I get up, I see what happened yesterday in the rear and see what am I going to do today to improve things, manage my tab better, improve this and do that. It's just regular human conduct to do that. So Now we have that report. We're going to work to implement it and see that the things that he encourages us to do, we do them. That he says we should suppress, we'll suppress.
Okay.
And I believe that when all of these things are done, the New Patriotic Party will stand again resolute and ready to lead Ghana again.
All right, just do me a favor and send me a copy of the report. I can promise you that I will share it with Hamza.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, Hamza.
I'll send you something, but if you see it, if it's a report, you can tell me.
Hamza, what do you feel yourself? Or you peep into the
on this note, I'll decide how to use my the first 3 minutes of my time.
No problem.
Just to quickly make some
quick
rebuttals.
Right.
First of all, I think that when we promised that we're going to establish the Women Development Bank, we never said that we're going to provide the capital requirements in a matter of 123 days. There's a huge difference between capital adequacy ratio in terms of capital requirements for the establishment of a bank and seed money for the processes that would lead to the eventual establishment of the bank. And that was the promise we made. Right. And that is the reason why we have made available 50 million Ghana cedis. It has nothing to do with capital adequacy ratio requirement. It is simply in line with our plan to at least putting the framework in place and getting the necessary building blocks for us to be able to meet these capital adequacy ratio requirements. Then, quickly on the issue of what Galamsey, I think that I was impressed by the question you asked him. What shows that what data suggests that the fight against Galamsey is struggling to an extent that it has become worse under our regime? Absolutely not. But we have impressive records to show in terms of data. Before we came into office, about 43 forests were under siege. Today, we are happy to announce that at least we have been able to reclaim in excess of 7 or 9 of them, largely because of our efforts in that sector. Not long ago, I think about a day or two ago, you noticed that in the Subri catchment area, we've been able to discover a full community that was engulfed in illegal mining in our forest reserves. For 8 years, they failed to appreciate that there was an existence of such a community. And if they knew about the existence of that community, then clearly they were accomplices in terms of protecting these inhabitants. So these are gainful efforts that the government has shown in terms of its commitment to the fight against illegal mining and mining our forest reserves. But you see, Moro, as for the New Patriotic Party and the time-wasted effort trying to find the reasons why they lost the last election.
Time-wasted effort?
It is time-wasted.
But you
because
did the same thing.
I'll get there, and I'll tell you why I feel there's a stand. You see, the circumstances are entirely different.
Tell me what the difference is.
Look, we had a sitting president who took over from a president, the late President Mills, of course. And then we had internal issues to resolve within the party. Yeah. And many of us believe that largely because of the nature of the transition that happened between the late President Mills and that of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, it contributed hugely to our defeat. So there was the need for us to understand what was going on. It had nothing to do with the psychology or persuasion of the party then. So when we did it, they were mocking us. Today, they decided to copy from the NDC's hymn books, and they're even copying it wrongly. And I can sit here and confidently and eruditely tell them why they lost that last election. Moro, you see, you were dealing with a leader who for almost over a decade decided to change the psychology of your party. And here I'm making reference to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Remember, since 2007, Nana Addo has been at the helm of affairs of the party. And so he succeeded in changing the thinking pattern of the party and moved the NPP from a party that was initially attractive to intelligence, academia, and if you like, the business community, to a party that suddenly assumed an arrogant posture to reflect his personality, where even dissent was not entertained when he was running a flag bearer, even in opposition. So your problem started way back, even before Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo became president. You failed to identify these red spots. And at the time, the NDC was pointing it out to you and said that, look, this is not just about the future of the New Patriotic Party, it is also about the future of Ghana's democracy. You defended that thuggery, that arrogant posture, even in opposition, where a chunk of your party leaders were chased out of the party head office. Your regional chairmen were harassed. In fact, as a result of that, one of them, unfortunately, was murdered, largely because of the politics of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his cabal within the New Patriotic Party. So, Moro, you emboldened the man, and he took that attitude into government. And when he got into government, the government was run by 3 people. We all know that. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Gabi Ochridako, and the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. So for over a decade, these guys shaped the philosophy of the New Patriotic Party. So the first step is for you to reorient your minds and get yourself out of that arrogant posture. Because you just demonstrated same here. Did you listen to him when he said that, oh, the Flagstaff is our seat and the parliamentary seat, so we are going to take our seats back? Those seats belong to the good people of this country, and they decide through elections who to give the honor of serving them. It does not belong to the New Patriotic Party.
But Hamza, if he sees those seats as a traditional NPP seats, and he says
is a Flagstaff, is a Jubilee House, but he made mention to that. I'm making reference to it. He said it belongs to them. They will take theirs.
Oh, you mentioned Flagstaff House as your seat?
Yes, the presidency. He mentioned that.
You mentioned that?
But you see, are you going to introduce him into that?
Yeah, please go ahead.
You see, Moro,
he's being mischievous.
Moro. I'm not.
Carry on.
Moro, again, you see, so their first tax is actually not, they don't need a report to be told that they need to take away that poison chalice that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo succeeded in subjecting them to over the last 8 years. In fact, over the last 16 years, rather. Because 8 years in opposition and 8 years in government. Over a decade. Moro, you see, when they were doing the press conference, I looked at the table and I was like, my goodness God, these guys don't learn any useful lessons. These are still remnants of the Nana Addo legacy. These are the very people that the NPP people are worried about. These are them. They still feel that they are relevant to the politics of the NPP. Any true transformation that fails to sweep off the Nana Addo poison chalice from their parliamentary leadership to the party level, they would be unsuccessful at any attempt to truly transform their party. The likes of Pepe Nyomakin and Co. are all Nana Addo's induced leadership before he left. They know as a party that they did not have the luxury of choice to determine who lead them or who had the opportunity to sit at the front bench of parliament. It was done by Nana Addo before he left. The party level, still under his beck and call. So that is the kind of problem they have. If the party truly wants to make a transformative change in its operations, there is the need for the likes of my brother here to be shown the exit and allow new blood with a better understanding. Unfortunately, I have to tell him that.
You want your friend to be sacked?
No, but they need to move. They need to make way. The party is yearning for change. And the last election, he is. That's why I'm saying that, unfortunately, there are better roles for him to play, but not to be at the party head office. Because, you see, they all contributed to that mess. And I'm sure the NPP people out there hold them responsible. So you don't need a report to tell you that. And, you see, my brother, I listened to Afenyo Markin also make references to the fact that the NDC is engaged in a scheme to oust the Chief Justice. Unbelievable. So that again, once again, is a reflection of the choice that they gave to the good people of this country. We've all seen his conduct since he assumed the leadership role, first as majority leader and subsequently as minority leader, meaning minority leader in parliament. We've seen his conduct. This is not a conduct that we can be proud of. And I'm sure well-meaning NPP people are beginning to question his sense of judgment and leadership ability. when it comes to leading the NPP's bench. And these are the people who are leading the party today. There's the need for a change. He is a lawyer. He knows that whatever action we take in this country, especially when it comes to the three arms of government, clearly governed by our Constitution, 1992. And under Article 146, the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana prescribes a procedure for citizens of this country to take advantage of at any point in time they feel that the Chief Justice is not living according to the dictates of her mandate or his mandate. So if responsible Ghanaians, not one, not two, not three, three Ghanaians we are told, decided to take advantage of that constitutional provision to call for the removal of the Chief Justice, how is that connected to the National Democratic Congress? Does he think that the laws in our Constitution are simply meant to be opened, admired, and closed again? Every constitutional provision is capable of being taken advantage of by the good people of this country if they feel strongly about it.
Okay.
So if Ghanaians decide to take advantage of that constitutional provision, he shouldn't complain. After all, we did not put those laws in our law courts, in our constitution, simply because we wanted to admire it from time to time.
All right.
So, Moro, please let my brother know that the reality is that their number one challenge has to do with a president who has changed the persuasion of the NPP for over a decade.
Okay.
Ably assisted by a man who, quite incidentally and interestingly, has earned the reputation of not being trustworthy. And I'm here making reference to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We did not put that on him. It is simply difficult for Ghanaians to accept that this is a truthful candidate. And remember, somewhere in 2016, His Excellency President Mahama said something profound when he cautioned that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should be careful of his promises and the things he was saying about the economy, because he had not had the opportunity yet to be president or vice president. We saw it happen.
Okay.
Prophetic.
So, all right.
Today, he is being haunted by his own words and actions whilst he was in opposition and even subsequently in government. So my plea to them is, look, they should spare Ghanaians this hassle of having to waste time discussing the internal happenings of the New Patriotic Party. They should do the needful. The likes of the General Secretary, the party chairman, and finally, Moro, look, I'm a proponent of freedom of expression, especially under a minute when it comes to the role of the media in our politics. We cannot end this show without condemning what they did to the TV3 reporter. That is unacceptable. It could be Metro TV tomorrow. And the Ghana Journalists Association must signal to the NPP that they would not entertain that. And they can only do so by releasing a statement today directing all media houses to boycott their activities until they apologize to the TV3 journalists. This is how we can help strengthen the fourth estate as far as our democratic process is concerned. We should not allow the NPP to get away with this, because this is clearly unacceptable.
I also thought that it wasn't tidy. It could have been done better. But Kojo I have no, just a message, just a quick one. I'll bring you.
Kojo, you have read Kojo already. Kojo is sitting somewhere. If Kojo wants to talk, he should come and sit here. He should come and sit here.
So no, he's admiring you.
No problem, but he should come and sit here.
He's praising you. Oh, for the first time, the man is praising you. Don't always read it. If
I don't read it, my friend. Okay. He's always at something.
So he says, please tell Richard to stop blowing gasket.
And that you are not correct, bro. You are not correct. how is that doing my bidding?
He says there is a steam coming out of the forehead, and that Ghanaians are enamored with the concept of a scandal-free government. Good morning, Hamza.
Good morning.
And let me do this other one quickly. So Musa Abatwa, so I said, good morning, Ebora. I essentially agree with Hamza Sweeney. We don't need the NPP to officially announce their miserable defeat. It's already public knowledge. Ghanaians rejected arrogance, corruption, and blatant nepotism that define the rule. That said, Minority Leader Fenyo Makin's comment about removing the Chief Justice is not good. It is not necessary.
You don't have time.
Or is it that blood wasn't running through Saloto's veins when she was hounded out of office? Hypocrisy and dishonesty from the highest level. Yes, please go ahead.
Hamza.
Yeah.
You know, two things. So let me just advise my brother. Professor John Evans Atta-Mills was right the last time and is right today, may his soul rest in peace, when he said, "Ufiasam." Everything he's saying, I'm not sure where he's going with it. He's pointing fingers and four is pointing back at him, saying that, oh, the executives might be shown the exit. Does he remember what his general secretary, now chairman, said when they lost?
Right.
In 2016?
Right.
He said that they shouldn't blame him. They should blame the new crop of people who came.
So let your general secretary
Hold on. So when you are saying these things, you have to remember your history because you have it and we can refer to it. When they lost miserably, who was the president who lost up the election? Is it not the same person? They brought one, they brought two, and they brought three? Is that the same person? So what is he talking about that people should be shown exit because what? This whole business of Akufo-Addo, this Akufo-Addo, hasn't President Mahama captured their party? Huh? To where the venerable Dr. Adufo can't have space to contest him? They muscle him out. Anybody who wants to contest is hounded. Huh? They created the party, just handed him the seat. If you came up to contest John Dramani Mahama, you are in for trouble. So what is he talking about? Eh? I said, Nketia was the agenda secretary. Now he's the chairman. Where did he go in the 80s? Where did he go? Where did he go?
Okay.
You understand? Right. So please, we won't take that advice. The best thing that he needs to take is the advice from former President John Atta-Mills.
Okay.
Do fiesta. Number two, advise my brother that seed money doesn't establish a bank. The promise they made in their manifesto is to establish Women's Development Bank. So when you bring seed money, that is not equal to establishing a bank. Okay. Seed money don't establish a bank.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Okay? And also, my brother, this poison challenge is talking about Akufo-Addo. I just told him in his party, they have worse. Is there anything worse than poison? Can you tell me? But let's just create the concept that there's something worse than poison. That's what the NDC has. Okay? What we have done, we are a democratic party. We have listened across the board.
Okay.
We are going to rebuild our party based on these recommendations.
Okay.
The NDC should just sit and watch. Their problem should not be ours.
Okay.
They should worry about the promises that they have made that they cannot keep.
Okay.
They trick people into believing they can do A, B, C, D. Even women of our country who had hopes in them, they are deceived.
All right.
And now to the Chief Justice matter. I am completely scandalized that I am not seeing an outrage on the street.
Why?
An outrage on the street. We have had, I think my brother Solai probably have an idea. We have had easily about 15 Chief Justices in our history, right? 3 of them, women out of the 15. All of them appointed by an NPP president. The NDC is going to earn themselves the tag as the government, as the party that targeted the woman CJ and took her out.
Are you going to give you the right of reply?
How is the NDC targeting her?
This whole thing about
gender blackmail.
No, well, call it whatever. But everything you said was political blackmail. So if anything is like that, then that's what it is.
How's the NDC targeting her?
Look, what are the issues against the Chief Justice?
We don't know.
The readings we have done.
No, we don't know.
Yeah, I know we don't know, but the readings we have done, they are matters.
But it's highly speculative. You don't do speculative. No
problem,
stuff.
but that's why I'm not saying it's factual. I say the readings we have done, they are not significant issues.
Yeah, but
that warrant the breach of institutional independence.
So until we get,
in a manner, hold on. I'm saying that they don't warrant. Has she killed anybody in this country? You've seen her work. Has she killed anybody?
Okay.
Has she proven she has infirmity of body or mind to be able to do the job? Has she done anything egregious to us to breach the Constitution? Just have to take all options off the table except to remove her from office.
We don't know.
I'm just telling you that she has not done those things. If she has done those, you don't need to know. You will just know.
What Charlotte say, man?
Charlotte is a woman, but you see, here's the thing.
Sometimes this level of hypocrisy.
No, it's not hypocrisy, my brother. It's okay. We'll have a nice chat. You see, the point about Charlotte say that they confidently don't want to say the quest to remove Charlotte Osei originated from the EC. It was not induced from without. It was from within.
Okay.
It was from the commissioners themselves blaming each other.
Okay.
That led to that petition. Okay, so it is not comparable to this.
Have you seen the contents of the current 3 petitions against the Chief Justice? How are you able to tell that we don't have cooperatives from the judiciary?
But I just told you, I'm just better reading.
I kept asking whether
and also,
which is speculative.
Hold on. And everything you have said is not factual.
It's factual because I back it up. I challenge you to the facts.
No.
My brother,
you have not provided any facts.
You have failed to provide facts.
Well, I don't have to provide the facts to you. I'm just letting you know.
Give me an example. Show me evidence.
Allow me to speak. The point I'm telling you, here's the fact. One.
You don't know the petition. You haven't seen the petition. I've not seen it.
I haven't claimed that I've seen it.
So clearly, so don't run on the basis of conjecture. That's why I'm telling you that this is a serious platform. So it is not acceptable for you to run on
serious platform
on the basis of
you are
conjecture.
about to do. You are about to do something that is going to breach. Okay, institutional independence.
Hi.
The judiciary is an equal arm of government. Okay?
Why are you
the
blaming?
executive,
No,
the legislature.
I want to get the connection.
I am just telling you that.
How are you connecting this to the NDC?
I'm just telling you.
And the Electoral Commission is the trunk that holds the branches of government. If you understand democratic practice.
No problem.
See the Electoral Commission, Moro, it acts as the trunk of the branches of government we are talking about. You decided to cut down in an unethical manner that trunk. And in the process,
you spoiled the program anyway. But just hold on. Hold on. We've had a good chat. You see, the point is that I've told him something that's incontrovertible. That with the EC thing that is talking, the trunk or whatever it is that is talking, was originated from within. They themselves created their fall. Okay, so the president was a conveyor belt. He's done that. We are saying that. We are saying that
we are having to deal with today. We don't have a person from the judiciary also filing a petition.
So time is up.
The petitions, from what we have seen so far,
they'll take us off.
They are not. Yeah,
Richard, you know why?
Who are those people?
You don't know.
Richard, the difficulty is that we've not seen the petition. So let's not proceed from there.
Moro, we have done readings. We have done readings.
No, have you seen the petition?
I'm saying that we have done readings.
No, but you've not seen the petition.
That points to the matter.
Okay,
but
so
the substantial point I'm making.
take us off.
No, just 1 second. The substantial point I'm making to you is that the Justice Gertrude Tokonu has not done anything that you will say she merits being removed.
No, I don't know.
And
You
don't know.
saying
that these micro things that they are trying to blow up to become an issue. That for
why
me
don't you wait till you
breach.
see the petition?
It's a breach
All right.
of our
So Richard Hayagba, somebody is accused. So Richard Hayagba is partly blamed in the Michael Quays-led report in page 22. I says, I am Gideon. I says page 22. So this was Evans Dinku from Garo says, good morning. Richard has just reminded me about President Nana Akufo-Addo.
All right, so that is it. Into way and summer. Yeah, in fact, Richard Hayagba, any NDC communicator, no. And unya botre tenasi din na uti NDC communicator now. Ha, we say nipa we onim di oka asem na oka no onim di oka kusi. Uti mu say NDC communicator we and some oka ina no onim baby oka kusi and every single word of Watano, he owns it and he can explain to, the fair hearing of the audience. But Yensha Richard Hayagba and some more keka offer we no the bibu him, offer we no the bibu him, and Shaden so. I need your Mahama Abine a promise Women's Bank. Na Abine akwa kosi hifa. After the 4 months, 4 months when you nyai, and no, I didn't go for more, Maybe so. Richard Hayagba, any NPP for Monama, Mokasi, you join the money Mahama Abansi, or the Women's Development Bank, Eba, Titriema Mijin, Opukuna Najmai, and Oyeding, or Dano, enti Onyam Famai, enti Momo Sora Musamunti Asia. Now, more ye see a cancer and come 8 years a chair, and the 1 how many of them the Mutimisi? One district, one factory, how many of them the Mutimisi? One village, one dam, how many of them the Mutimisi? 1 million, one constituency, how many of them and a Mutimisi mutin the buy? Yebisa mo. The policies a Bibia Mukai 8 years nature and no na yitimi di analysis but afi aban no afi na wa hye ne niema ase a ogu so o ye niema no o weti NPP communicator bi no si han NPP NDC for promise Women's Development Bank omunya nye enti no munye. You see sometimes I am NPP for you know me mega me nti omo ase personally me nti omo ase because omo mani look as if say ade no omo anka bi enye omo anye propaganda ni bia enye enti on so omo so eye bi. But that is not how politics is. Politics is about saying the truth and back it with facts. Saying the truth. Ampa and this if one jina so say you nanado don't go for the buy. When you went this street one factory will be ampa we have evidence. We have facts. We have facts and figures. Ampa and this for and chilemu say nanado don't go for the buy will be still gonna sika at the building. Manhole in the name of National Cathedral, Ampa, Ghana for we have evidence. And it is clear, Okwa Dahonum, Mamani Dahonum, I am training Kutre, reptiles enum gugum, and training Kutre enum wedding, a gugum, and premiering a baby them. So, when I eat mitnasi, na yeding, ye can wasem, and na yeding, ye tenasi, na yeding, ye can wasem. Na nyesabi, a busabi nyado. Omo abanya aba enye ndi na anu ndi na nsa 4 years afi na yetwam 3.5 I mean 3 and some few weeks bi 3 months and some few weeks bi wa sorry chenchina kutena TV so ka say aina John Mahama mamu time John Mahama mamu. You see, do you people sometimes really listen to yourself before you talk? Do you listen to yourself talking? Yebisa aya mo kasa mutie mo onse speaker ebisa oslo ususa asem yi ema ne bufu ya Ghana de echi ni se ebisa question akoda ko bisa panyi question anase panyi bi feelings on ye big no mo bisa na question obisa ne say Speaker of Parliament bisa oslo usu say, do you sometimes listen to yourself talking? Asem na kan no because no dintro opeso dane na no any speaker che no. So the only thing she can do is obedi interrupt to no the before akataso. I didn't speak a bisa na question. And that is the behavior of NPP, majority of them. Dodo na yo musuban. Omoya omogdi trona chomwa. Then they come out with different things. As for mubufu, ompeso mukata so Richard Hanya. Wa won so ti honum na branche ne papa ne kan asem na say twina. I mean say opeso ya na okataso with some kind of posture and sensembi. And moyesa mobetimo position ache. Back to Frimpong Kodia, General Secretary, the press conference now ye and so. They are saying say memobia me capacity ne ho asem. MPP mubeja hypocrite na nke bebo mo. Mega de me kana maka ne bio and you know say me e ban no kwari a platform with that is our hallmark. That is our hallmark, our motto. Say eba no kwari die say enka no kwari pa dia platform we firi ho no ma edi so benya other 2 platforms account because ye ya gia to me be kan no kwari na edi a kire say ye MPP o say ye NDC ye enta ba bi ba kwa chi o me ka kire o enne say me NDC ni ye bibi na enya meka MPP ye bibi na enya meka me nye political party bia supporter na political party bia da high fan na makogina ba wi aka say MDC aya die we ntime nye de me nka mayi mani no. If I say that, if I do that, I'm hypocrite and I'm not going to do that. Moti hanom ena akwa we papa we ni din thing. Former Swami MP Chemin Sabunsu ene na ne nam kansem sem krofo din efa report no. Anu manhunu Subin MP Eugene Boachentwi nsembe no nyankai. Even before elections, not to try ampia, ye 2 years or to try ampia. Edward Enin, former, Obuasi East Member of Parliament. ɛdeɛn sɛ na ɔmo nka no okurom ha ayɛ na mo suro sɛ mo bɛka binom asɛm ana you see maame nka wei ntwa toɔ na nsi yɛ aberanteɛ ne di ne sɛ aboa papo ɛkɔtena paka show so paka sɛ mo nim na ɔyɛrepa fm ɔyɛrepa tv paka ɛka sɛ Bawumia was the reason why ɔmo defeated because he was wrong candidate hey akɔyɛ ne di ne sɛ kodua fm pɔ mo yɛ nyiyimu o mo ngya saa o kodua mo yɛ nyiyimu o mo ngya o sɛ yɛ bi nso na ɛhyɛ w'akyi ɛna ɛ drive us ana you better tell the person to shut up because mo sɛ po akyi no mo sɛ po akyi no obi ba abɔnten bɛkasa akɔyɛ aboa papo nyɛ NPP ni ofiri fonka party maame kuradu adwuma Rollins ne party mu ne bae ɔbaa na mo yɛ deputy general deputy communications director ɛnɛ ɔtete party no mu by sɛ ɔkɔdwani Kennedy Japan me ni problem with it because Kennedy ma yɛ campaign amaneda but me ngu candidate bi anim ase ɛnkɔkyerɛ obi wɔ do enti no mu nyɛ hu ya na munye hu ya na mebisa mo munye hu ya na hey kodua sɛ mbɛbɛ da bi MPP we bi si ya no mbɛyɛ dia 30% kora no mbɛ brands omonya next election say no mbɛyɛ if they continue to do this kind of hypocrisy and I mean aimless attitude say they are going to suffer heavy defeat in the next election and that will set a record that it means we are secret political party or your opposition being a mark in be and you know they have already set that record crowd that and just for I mean for sana identity mo bibia happy Easter bio official pa me ma me chi ba for yankopon shira o United States of America yankopon nyem ma me kese ma me roye bi o UK obi bia hwe mega TV na yankopon shira o me ma me roye bi obi pie won Ghana in fact me ma me niema o twagu ni channel no so roye bi TV enya senketo yi ne enko na e support roye bi TV na bibia ntimi enko so obisa for hanom ena me ma daje ana se bre me ma me kwan ama me di mo asie. Let me shira. Bye bye.